With normie friends come normie problems. That's the topic of today's video. Have you ever noticed that as a Bitcoiner, you'll be around a group of your colleagues or your cohort, and you'll just find yourself over time becoming more disinterested by the day in a lot of the mundane topics that come up? What are the common topics that come up with a lot of people? Well, a lot of people are interested in the latest updates on TV and movies and music and sports. You'll notice that as a Bitcoiner, your mind might be on the blockchain and new technology and new emerging thoughts and ideas and models. You'll be poring over the Satoshi paper and your friends won't even know who Satoshi is. It'll shock you. You'll be thinking about these higher level concepts, these mathematical concepts. You'll realize that there's this technology that's just as significant as when Kodak paper photos would end up transitioning into digital photos, or when an analog phone could become the iPhone, or when something like the internet didn't exist, to realize that one day e-commerce could happen on the internet and you could order something online, stop ordering it on a magazine in paper and pen, and you could order it from an online marketplace and have it shipped to your door the next day magically. You would have thought that was sorcery. But people who were fixated on those things way back when, they had a vision into the future. And you know that you have that with Bitcoin. You know we're on the cusp of this revolution, and you look around and the fact that your friends have no idea what it is, they have no concept, it shocks you, and it can actually be a little discouraging for you, and you find yourself slinking away in the corner because you love being around your friends, you love being around your family, you love being around your cohort, but you realize that there's just a slight difference there. The things that you're interested in are not exactly the pop culture things that they're interested in. But don't get disparaged. Just continue on your course and just keep finding that self-love. Don't let it get you down. Just try to introduce the topic to them, but don't force it. Don't push it. Continue on your path. Have good people around you. The way you can win them over is continuing to be good to them, and just continue on your path. Live and let live. A last point I'll make is that since we started off by talking about normie problems and the circles that they find themselves perpetuating in, usually normie friends. Again, normie friends come with normie problems. And you'll notice that in that average state, that's where a lot of people happen to dwell, as we've gotten into in the past. And so a very encouraging story I wanted to share on a positive note is basically the most non-normie person I ever had the pleasure of being around. And this is an old boss of mine, an old mentor. And for the sake of this video, we'll call her name Mary. That's not her name, but for the sake of this video, we'll call her name Mary. And so I think back to Mary, and the image I get in my mind is of this bright, beautiful, stunning flower, like in a sea of gray. I see this like bright, beautiful, shining sunlight. I see this beautiful starlight. I see this beautiful rainbow in like a sea of gray nothingness, like surrounding sort of that image in my mind, because she was such a light, and she was such a magnetic and magnificent person that nothing around her was like her. She was so bright and beautiful, and yeah, just this bursting light of love and energy. And she had worked in the business field for nearly 4 decades. She had worked incredibly hard, and she was one of the most happy people I've ever been around. And during these years where I worked with her, I noticed that in a lot of news headlines, what was commonly talked about was oppression and different groups feeling oppressed. Now, to caveat all of this before delving into the story, does some negative stuff exist in the world? Of course. You'd have to not have a brain to understand that negative stuff happens in the world. Are there some not nice people in the world? Yes. Are there some people that do terrible things to other people? Yes. That's a horrible condition and a fact of the world. But does it serve you to really obsess over that fact? Ask yourself. Does it add value to your life dynamically to obsess on negative things and matters of oppression and who's keeping who down? Again, think back to the mundane things that a lot of average people, normie friends, come with normie problems. Some of the mundane things that they're interested in is, oh, this celebrity's fighting with this person, this politician is fighting with this person, this celebrity is dating this other person. None of that is your concern. None of that changes your life a millimeter. None of it serves you. None of it puts money in your pocket. None of it gives you an extra second of your day, of the limited time you have on this beautiful planet Earth. So just think about that. So back to my boss and my amazing, beautiful mentor. It never surprised me that for someone who was in business for nearly 4 decades, that she never complained about someone keeping her down. The words never came out of her mouth. And imagine when she was working, there were a lot less concessions and resources. Imagine, she was working for 40 years. Way back in the day, there were less outlets available for her. That's a fact. And nowadays, there are more excellent, helpful resources for anyone who might be feeling, negative things in the workplace. Again, they might be real. You have some resources to help you, but where she was coming with, she had to lift herself up by the bootstraps. There was no one else to offload her problems on. There was no third-party contractor for her to say, it's on them to help me. I'm a victim. She never said that. She would never dare of thinking to say she's a victim. Number one reason she wouldn't is because she just didn't have time for it. She was too busy building an empire, working hard, being a success, gaining great, prosperous things for her beautiful family. And so about this mentor, she had met the love of her life when she was about 19 or 20, and they got married. They're still married to this day. And it's no surprise that someone as bold and great as her, that she found love at an early age and had a successful marriage. It never surprises me that she had 5 beautiful children. It never surprises me that now she has 10 or 11 beautiful grandchildren. It never surprises me that she, is in love with her faith. She's in love with a higher calling. She's aligned to a higher purpose. She loves helping people. Whatever your religious affiliation happens to be is not the point of this video, but she aligns herself to something bigger in the universe. She submits to something bigger in the universe, whatever you want to call it, some universal force, or if you want to use the term God, or if you want to use the term higher energy, whatever works for you, whatever your faith is. It's no surprise to me that someone like her, who's so happy, so uplifting, so encouraging, that she never fell into the easy trap to say, oh, that person oppressed me. I didn't get that promotion because the evil man kept me down. No one kept her down. Even if they did, like I said before, those thoughts just went right through her, just passed through like oxygen. It had just didn't even register. She had no time to even let that thought materialize, metastasize, and grow. It wasn't even real. She just walked through like she walked on water. It didn't have any time to sink in that someone was oppressing her or being mean to her, even if they were. She was just in this happy state where she just had too much goodness to give to the world, that was such an overpowering force that there was no time for any badness to seep in. And if there was, she wasn't going to allow it. She took ownership of her life, and she was like, these are my boundaries. I won't let in that negative talk. I won't let in that dark cloud to override what's happening in my life. No one's going to take my joy. So hopefully that helps you in terms of realizing that, normie issues come around people who are caught up in the mundane, and you'll notice a difference amongst brighter, happier people who are connected to something higher. And back to, this being a Bitcoin channel, the road that you're taking now is the road less traveled, because a lot of people most of the world is tied to fiat currency. That's the normal thing. And so you doing a different, unique thing and choosing a unique path and going with Bitcoin, it's still a new technology, and they'll look at you like you have 5 heads and be like, what's this weird thing you're into? Because it's new and scary. With normie friends come normie problems. Do what works best for you. Try to align yourself to something that you feel is higher. Stay connected to that force, and you'll notice a positive energy resonates with you as you do so.